Square.
It is time to share your decision. Where are you headed to school?
Ooh, Alabama gets the #1 safety in the country. What was it about Alabama?
LSU Tigers, #1. Go Tigers.
In the next 4 years, I'm going to Denver University.
Call into the Neighbors Wealth Management Hotline, 256-576-4977. Now, here's D Squared.
Welcome, everyone, to this Tuesday edition of the Recruiting Blitz on Blitz Sports Radio. I am D Squared, Drew DeArmond. We are going to talk some Arkansas today. Going to be a really interesting conversation with one of the biggest Lakers fans out there, one of the best journalists out there. He's covered the Hogs for a long, long time. He's part of Pig Trail Nation now in hogville.net, and that is Otis Kirk. Otis Kirk's going to join us, and we're going to talk some Arkansas athletics. Arkansas now, by about a half game, is up on in the Western Division. Arkansas up on LSU right now. Dave Van Horn's Razorbacks, once again, ranked in the top 10 of the country. You know, they are one of the most consistent programs in the Southeastern Conference. They're on that short list you don't want to be on now that Mississippi State and Ole Miss are off of it. But, best program to never win the College World Series. Just a few years ago, they lost that heartbreaker, came within 1 out away of winning the College World Series. Weren't able to get that done, but still, they are one of the best programs in the country. They swept Mississippi State, which is not easy to do, even in this off year for Chris Lemonis' ball club. And really, this is 2 straight off years. We know Coach Foxall, the pitching coach, got dismissed from Mississippi State just a few days ago. They have struggled, no question about it. But Arkansas swept the series from the Mississippi State Bulldogs on the road, and that is never easy to do, no question about that. That series was played, on Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, and it was dominated by Arkansas. Arkansas winning 6-2, and then 14-2, and on Sunday they outlast the Razorbacks and get it done. The Razorbacks outlast Mississippi State 11-6 on Sunday to get it done and get that sweep of the Mississippi State Bulldogs. It was 11-6 was the final. Again, 6-2 on Friday, and then on Saturday, the Razorbacks dominate and win going away in 14-2, and then they go ahead and win the series 11-6 to the Hogs on the road. And again, it's never easy to sweep an SEC team, no matter who you're playing. But as we saw, softball-wise, Alabama, Ole Miss was really one of the 2 worst teams in the SEC, and Alabama loses on Sunday. Even with Montana Fouts trying to close it out, they make some defensive mistakes. Montana not quite as sharp as she had been in winning the first 2 starts of the series, and Alabama goes from up 4-1 to losing 5-4 in the bottom of the 7th. So it's never easy, no matter what it is, softball, baseball, to sweep in the Southeastern Conference. So anytime you can, Alabama did that a couple weeks ago against Missouri. You take it because it's 3 games in the standings, and certainly Alabama facing a really tough matchup this weekend. They're going to be facing the Texas A&M Aggies, and on our sister station on ESPN 97.7 The Zone, we just were joined by the voice of the Aggies. He does the Big 3 for Texas A&M football, basketball, and baseball. Andrew Monaco, he does an amazing job. Such a great resource for us when talking Aggies. He was talking about Schlossnagle, Jim Schlossnagle, that is. First season in College Station last year, goes to the College World Series, as he was perennially doing in his 18 years with the TCU Horned Frogs, now taking over the A&M program. And that's the thing. Alabama has their job open right now, but these SEC jobs are destination jobs. Unlike college basketball, college football, you see coaches every now and then trying to make that jump to the highest level, as they call it. college football to the NFL, college basketball to the NBA. It doesn't happen in college baseball. You don't see it. Every now and then you might see a pro guy go down to the college level. It doesn't happen often, though. You looked at, I believe it's Wes Johnson, the pitching coach at LSU. He left the Minnesota Twins to go to LSU for almost as much money as Brad 2 times Bohannon was making at Alabama, and basically for quote-unquote stealing money and then I guess betting it. But again, it is what it is, but you get what you pay for, and certainly Alabama wasn't getting return on investment there. But that just shows you how much baseball means to LSU when you're paying your pitching coach that kind of money. And, of course, your head coach is Jay Johnson, coming over from Arizona, is making over $1 million a year. We've talked about that. But certainly Alabama has Jason Jackson as the interim coach. He's gotten off to a very strong start. He has a chance to continue that tonight, as Alabama will be on the road in Montgomery taking on the Troy Trojans at Biscuit Stadium, home of the Montgomery Biscuits in the Southern League. They are going to be out there playing. It's going to be a big-time atmosphere at Riverwalk, as Alabama is going to be taking on Troy. They beat Troy 10-2 in Tuscaloosa earlier in the season, but Troy's having a really good year this year in the Sun Belt Conference, a really good mid-major program, always playing good baseball, and I believe they have a .500 record at home or, the neutral field against Alabama. This is considered a Troy home game, really, though. So Troy will be considered the home team, Alabama the visitor. Alabama trying to not have a midweek hiccup before going to College Station, as they're trying to continue to build their resume to get back into a regional for the second time in 3 seasons. They missed regional play a year ago, went 2 seasons ago in year 4 under Coach Brad Bohannon, their former head coach now. But really, it's been a struggle for Alabama the last several years to be a consistent regional team. But their RPI is really good, in the top 20 in the country. And so Alabama trying to continue to build that resume. And they will be on a week-long road trip, as they will be at Troy, last midweek game of the year. And then they will be going on the road to Texas A&M. And then returning for Thursday, Friday, Saturday against all the Ole Miss Rebels, trying to wrap up the regular season before the conference tournament starts at Hoover. It's amazing how quickly that has passed. Auburn will be playing Thursday, Friday, Saturday, the next 2 weekends. They are headed to Ole Miss coming up on the 11th, 12th, and 13th. Everybody else will be playing Friday, Saturday, Sunday, including Alabama. We talked about that. The matchups, we'll talk to Chris Lee later in the week. But Vanderbilt will be looking to bounce back on the road at Florida. Florida looking to bounce back. They lost 2 out of 3 on the road to a Texas A&M team that's surging. They're 11-13 in the league, just like Alabama and Auburn. So that's going to be a underrated, under-the-radar series, Texas A&M and Alabama. Alabama trying to win yet another series and go on the road and play good baseball. We'll see if they can do that in College Station. They need to take at least one game, in my opinion, to continue to feel good about their chances to get to Hoover, which look good, and, of course, to get into a regional, because it doesn't take but one bad stretch to sometimes cost you quite a bit in the postseason race. Georgia will be traveling to Missouri. Georgia needing to continue to stack wins. Missouri looking like they could be one of the 2 out. We'll see. It looks like it's going to be 2 out of the 3 of Missouri, and then the 2 Mississippi schools, Ole Miss and Mississippi State. Mississippi State is traveling to LSU. Good luck with that for the Mississippi State Bulldogs. And then South Carolina, it doesn't get any easier for them. Wow. Lose 2 out of 3 at home to Auburn, get swept at Kentucky, and now you're going on the road to Arkansas. And speaking of Arkansas, we were going to hear right now from Dave Van Horn, who spoke to the media following that 11-6 series clinching, or as far as or sweeps. It clinched the sweep. They'd already won the series 14-2 on Saturday, but this 11-6 win gets a rare road sweep for Arkansas as they ascend now to the top of the SEC West, heading into the last 2 conference weekends. Here is Dave Van Horn.
It's I don't know, just excited to get out of here with all 3 games. Came down here a little beat up again, just playing guys that hadn't played much all year, and seemed like they just kept making good plays in the field, advancing runners, and helping the team win. we did a great job hitting 2 outs because I think we might have scored just about all our runs with 2 outs. It just was it was a great day for us, having a chance to come out here and sweep and facing a really good pitcher. I mean, incredible arm. I guess he throws with both arms, which is really amazing. And we got his pitch count up and fouled off a lot of pitches and took some big swings with like I said, with 2 outs, runners on, drove in a lot of runs there. And pitching, they held him down. Good offense, held him down all weekend, really.
Tom?
Yeah. Hey, Dave, can you believe with all that you've gone through that you guys now are tied with Vanderbilt atop the whole league? And it just seems kind of unreal, you know?
Yeah. Yeah, the team's kind of unreal, to be honest with you. They just believe they can win, and they just show up. And that's what I said yesterday. They show up every day to play, and they think they can win. And if you don't think you can win, you're not going to win as many as you should. And they did it this weekend now. But yeah, I mean, I'm obviously we're all happy where we are. We're just trying to win today and try not to worry about everybody else. And guys are getting ready to finish up school this week, and now we got South Carolina coming in that struggled at Kentucky. So I'm sure we'll get their best shot next weekend.
Hey, how big was Brady Slavens for you this weekend? Moving up in the order, and he homered in all 3 games. What would you say?
Man, it was big. Putting him in the 4 hole, I was just trying to show him a little bit of confidence, especially with a couple of guys out. And I don't know if he'll stick there when we get our 2 other outfielders back, but he had some really good at bats and some big swings, and help us get the lead. And just really happy for him that that he had such a good weekend. And obviously, probably wouldn't have won a couple of games without him.
Andrew Ellis.
Yeah, Coach, probably the best outing for Zach Morris, really going back to the fall even. And, it seemed like his velo was up a little bit. Just how encouraging was to see him, do what he's done for you before, but do it so well today.
Yeah, the game, it seems like a month ago, that game we lost in Little Rock. I guess that was last Tuesday. Seems like a couple of weeks ago. I thought Zach threw extremely well. And so that's maybe the beauty of a midweek game. Even though you don't win it, you get to see some things and get some guys out there. And he threw really well. And the thing that a lot of people don't know is that we had him up and down the bullpen a couple of times this weekend. So he threw a lot of pitches, not just the ones you saw in the game, but getting up, pitching, not coming in. And because we had him hot last night until we got the last out. So just a really good job of Zach really helping us out today.
And with Holland, it seemed like his stuff was better today than it was last week. Did you anticipate it would probably be a shorter outing for him? Just kind of what you see from his outing?
Yeah, his stuff was a lot better, and he was missing, but he was just missing. I mean, it was a ball or 2 off. It's not like he was a foot off. And, he got himself into trouble. He got behind, or, that's usually when they got him. But it was almost like he was just a little rusty. And, I think we were all encouraged by what we saw, really good stuff, and maybe just not quite the command that he had maybe 3 or 4 weeks ago. I'm guessing we'll see the command next weekend.
Robert.
Coach, we had a Mississippi State reporter tell us in the press box that their dugout was getting kind of angry with the way that you guys were just making play after play. What did you think of the way your defense played today and all weekend, really?
That was the first thing I talked about after today's game, was that our defense was outstanding all weekend. And just like today, they gave Bolton an error on that ball in the hole. And I guess when you make 2 or 3 plays that are amazing like that on the weekend, they think you're supposed to make it every time. And he knew he had to get rid of that ball extremely quick, and he did. And he short hopped the first baseman, and he didn't pick it. They gave him an error. I think it was a hit, but I thought we played super defense. I don't know if we made an error yesterday. Maybe we did in the outfield on a throw and another throw, but we made play after play, double plays, and just fielded all the ground balls. Bolton made some extremely tough come and get it type plays that sometimes people take for granted. Those are really, really difficult plays, and slowed them down offensively.
And then Jason Jones drew into the lineup today, got hit in the head. Looked like he was pretty angry walking off the field. Is he doing okay physically?
Yeah, he's fine. He wanted to stay in. I just said, I didn't want him to stay in. And, there's a new rule this year that, I don't know, maybe not this year, but it's a rule that because of the concussion protocol, if he's okay, I can actually put him back in the game. I've never done that. But we had the option to put him back in an inning or two down as long as we wanted, I guess. I'm guessing that he has to go into the exact same spot in the lineup, obviously. But once we got to a certain point, we just left defense out there. And, I thought that Neville made a really nice play on that ball, hit down the line, because when he left the bat, we didn't know if he was going to get there, and he got there easy. Made it look easy.
Coach?
Dave, going back to Holland, it looked like he had strike 3 in the third inning to end the inning, and then it kind of little snowball. There was a couple of balks and walks. Just what did you see from that sequence?
It was definitely a strike. Hitter's 5'7", 5'8". It wasn't low. I think the umpire knew it was a strike, kind of with the little conversations that Coach Hobbs and I had with him later between innings a little bit. And, it is what it is. You got to overcome. And he rolled through a couple of pitches, and those were balks. And, it didn't cost us the game, so hopefully he learned something from it. It won't happen again. And, that was in the dugout with a 3-run lead. And next thing you know, it's 3-3. And you kind of knew it was going to happen. They got a power hitter up, and he's frustrated, and he leaves one up, and he hits one off the scoreboard. So good job by the offense coming back and popping 3 runs in with 2 outs. I think it was a bases loaded double with an 0-2 count. And just a really big hit there by Borfin.
It was a little bit back and forth there for a couple innings. Y'all scored 5, but then Adcock went out and had the 1-2-3 inning. Just how big was that inning for y'all?
That was real big. I mean, that was the talk in the dugout, in the dugout, that we need to shut down inning, get back in the dugout. We're hoping we could pop one in and score another run. We did, and then they scored 2. But after that was all the scoring. I kept thinking we need to score another run or 2, and fortunately, Zach did a great job, and Parker Coyle came in and threw, I think, 8 fastballs and got 3 ground balls. It was nice.
Tom Morello, is there anything else?
Yeah, Coach, I believe your top 4 hitters combined for all 11 runs driven in, all the hits. Just what did you make of the way those guys really did all the damage and took control of the game?
Yeah, I mean, they kind of took control of the game. Really the first 2 games at the bottom of the order had really helped us score runs with, hits or advancing runners. But what the bottom of the order did was get on base for those guys. And obviously Kendall Diggs with 1 swing drove in 4, and Borfin drove in 4 with 2 swings. And, McLaughlin and Slavens, each drove in a run, and 1 drove in 2. And it was just, it's a super job, that they were on base 8, 9, and then all the way around. They did a good job for us.
Arch, last one.
Yeah, Dave, with Holland, is his leg back to 100% or close to it, or how is he doing with the leg?
Yeah, it's not 100%, but a lot of the pain's gone. So, he'll continue to monitor that and work on that this week, and hopefully we can get that to the point where he doesn't even think about it anymore.
Hey, Dave, last quick something.
Yeah.
Wagner and Josenberger, you feel pretty good for the coming weekend or what?
Well, Wagner's getting the 2 pins out of his thumb tomorrow. And, then it's kind of just up to him.
Right.
So I'm hoping that he'll be taking the bat by Wednesday or something. Who knows? And I think Josenberger would tell you he's about 80, 85%. I put him on the roster, but I didn't want to run him. And they've been working extremely hard with our strength coach and our trainer, stretching and running and exercising and, trying to get right. So hopefully by Wednesday we'll know if they're going to be able to go Friday.
And that was Dave Van Horn, and we want to appreciate hogsbeat.com for providing that audio. That was post the 11-6 series sweeping win in Stark Vegas for Arkansas as they continue to climb up the national rankings and SEC standings for Dave Van Horn's group. They are looking to be a national seed once again, a regional host at Baum Stadium, and get back to the College World Series. And, of course, if they are seeded that high, if they win their regional, they would be back in the Supers yet again. And again, just Dave Van Horn, just an outstanding coach. He got Nebraska to the College World Series, then came back home to Arkansas, his alma mater, and has made them one of the most consistent programs in all of college baseball, fully funded. They have a great fan base. They take baseball very, very seriously at Arkansas, and that's what Alabama is going to have to decide. Are they finally going to fully fund their program? Are they going to do even what Auburn's done with their funding and their support staff and everything, and paying Butch Thompson what they're doing? And that's why Auburn has been to the College World Series 2 of the last 3 years, because they've consistently built their program. Alabama going to have to do the same thing if they want to reach consistently that level where each and every season you're contending for regionals, getting to regional play, and certainly getting to the College World Series. They did that back in the Jim Wells era, but now it takes even more financial commitment. So many more programs have the amazing facilities and pour money into baseball. That's what Alabama is going to have to decide what they want to do. Do they want to be good every few years, or do they want to be good every year? And a great example of that is the Arkansas Razorbacks and what they do with their program. Hunter Yurachek, their athletic director, and then, of course, we know their athletic programs. Certainly, Sam Pittman has the football program trying to reestablish and stabilize it, but you've seen what they've done with their NIL and what Eric Musselman's done in basketball. Now for the first time really since the Nolan Richardson era was rolling, Arkansas has become a consistent NCAA tournament team and contender, and now their baseball program, which you could argue along with track is maybe the strongest on campus. Arkansas, a very, very good baseball program, and Dave Van Horn, one of the venerable coaches, great coaches in the sport, and wanted to hear from him this morning on the Recruiting Blitz on Blitz Sports Radio. But don't forget to download our app, the Blitz Sports Radio app, so you can hear the show every 9 to 10 a.m., Monday through Friday. We enjoy the conversation, no doubt that we've been going strong since late July. We want to continue to build. We want to thank our sponsor, Alumni Hall. Don't forget alumnihall.com as well. If you want, they have Arkansas gear on their website. If you're an Arkansas fan in the area and you want to go get some Arkansas gear, go to alumnihall.com. Very reasonable shipping, and for over $100, I believe they ship for free if you're a member. And then, again, for every $150 in their Hall Rewards program, you get 10 free bucks. You can stack those. You can use them whenever you want. No doubt about that. And then don't forget our location over at the Bridge Street Town Center here in Huntsville, Alabama and Auburn. They've moved from their location for many years, which was just down from the Apple store. They are now next to Belk, and then that will be temporary until August when they move into their new digs next to the Buckle, and that's going to be the largest store they've had, and it will be adding Tennessee to the mix. And Andy, the manager there, she does a great job. They are hiring, so please go see them if you need that summer job. And we just want to, again, thank our sponsors at Alumni Hall for helping bring you this show. And don't forget, later on today, this afternoon, it'll be the Bandyman, Bailey Lowry, Captain Cool, John Abraham with the Afternoon Blitz from 2 to 4. We look forward to that, and we look forward to speaking with our next guest. Our next guest will be Otis Kirk of Hogville.net, part of Pig Trail Nation. He's set to join us. We'll probably talk a little Lakers, too. He's a huge diehard Lakers fan, and we'll talk some Arkansas, and that'll be next here on this Tuesday edition of the Recruiting Blitz on Blitz Sports Radio. Stay with us.
You've got to experience Toyotathon at Bill Penny Toyota. They've got the selection with over 700 new Toyotas to choose from. And they've got the extras with Bill Penny perks and a 10-year unlimited warranty. So get on over to Bill Penny Toyota today and experience Toyotathon. Bill Penny Toyota in Huntsville and online at BillPennyToyota.com. Bill Penny's Toyota 10-year unlimited warranty is valid through the 10th year of ownership. Valid on new vehicles only. See dealer for details.
Hey folks, this is Arthur Seaton, managing partner of University Kia, letting you know we are proud supporters of Crimson Tide football. Stop in the University Kia today and shop our large selection of new Kias, including the all-new Telluride 8-passenger SUV, the stylish new K5, and sporty new Seltos. Visit universitykia.com for all our great offers. And get pre-approved in minutes so you can drive home your new Kia today. Because we want to see you in a Kia. Roll Tide!
At Bryant Bank, we believe your goals are worth chasing, and every step along the way is worth celebrating. From your hopes for the future to the challenges that keep you up at night, we're here for you. Bryant Bankers put care into action to help you live legendary by stepping up when you need us most and doing what's right even when no one is watching. Come experience a local bank whose people greet you by name and treat you like family. Bryant Bank, member FDIC.
You want the right specialist for your recovery. At SportsMed Orthopedic Surgery and Spine Center, we understand every body is different. Your muscles and bones are unique, as is your body. Our SportsMed specialists offer innovative treatments and minimally invasive procedures, allowing you to quickly return to the life you love. Locations in Huntsville, Madison, Athens, and Decatur, and on the web at sportsmedalabama.com. Improving performance, improving lives.
Do you have discomfort in your legs? Varicose veins can affect not only how your legs look, but how they feel. Symptoms of varicose veins include pain, swelling, aching, heaviness, and fatigue. Dr. Tracy Lowry of Best Vein Care of Huntsville can diagnose and treat your varicose veins with the latest minimally invasive techniques. Diagnosis and treatment is covered by most insurances. Call 256-715-7151 to schedule your free screening. Go to bestveincarehuntsville.com. Do you have discomfort in your legs? Varicose veins can affect not only how your legs look, but how they feel. Symptoms of varicose veins include pain, swelling, aching, heaviness, and fatigue. Dr. Tracy Lowry of Best Vein Care of Huntsville can diagnose and treat your varicose veins with the latest minimally invasive techniques. Diagnosis and treatment is covered by most insurances. Call 256-715-7151 to schedule your free screening. Go to bestveincarehuntsville.com.
Rambo Marine in Hazel Green is your one-stop shop for all things boating. Whether you are ready to surf with the newest Malibu wake boat or cruise in a Cobalt or Barletta pontoon, we have a boat ready for you and your family. Rambo Marine provides exceptional service second to none, so that you are ready to hit the water in no time. Stop by Rambo Marine today. We know boats.
Welcome back to the Recruiting Blitz on Blitz Sports Radio. I am D Squared, Drew DeArmond, and this is the Recruiting Blitz. We talk recruiting here. We talk sports for an hour each day on the Blitz Sports Radio here in Huntsville, Alabama, our streaming channel. We appreciate everybody for tuning in, for listening live, for also going to our SoundCloud page to check out any of our shows. This next gentleman has been a part of Talking Ball, my morning show, my morning drive show from 7 to 9 a.m. This will be his first time on this particular program. But if you follow the Arkansas Razorbacks, if you read about them and you follow them in the media, this next gentleman has been covering them for many, many years. He's a name synonymous with Arkansas. He does a great job. His name is Otis Kirk, and it's great to have him back on the show, first time on this program, but back to talk some Arkansas this morning from Pig Trail Nation and Hogville.net. And it's Otis Kirk. Otis, good morning. How are you?
Hey, thank you. I'm glad it's the Lee's show, man, because I was up late watching the Lakers last night. So I'm tickled to death. I made a deal. I was on another radio station a few weeks ago, and he asked me to come on at 6:40 a.m. And
wow.
It was the night the Lakers played, and I got to bed like 2. And I'm on the next morning, and Josh goes, "You sound tired." And I'm thinking, "You idiot, I am tired."
Well, if anybody knows Otis Kirk, he does not hide the fact he's a Lakers fan. We talked about that going to break. And I will say this, I went on a rant on the morning show today, Otis. I don't know if you were watching the coverage this morning on Get Up and on ESPN, but I could not believe that they were wanting to wonder if the Lakers would rest starters in Game 5, up 3-1 in the playoffs. That's just stunning to me.
Yeah, No, I think that I picked the Lakers in 6 to begin with, same as I did against Memphis. I have them winning the 3 home games and winning 1 at Golden State, same as I did with Memphis, and they won the first game of both series. I think they'll lose. No, they're not going to rest him. I think they'll lose tomorrow night and then win Friday night. And for the Lakers, that's what they've got to do. They've got to take care of home court, because unless they play Miami in the finals, they're not going to have home court advantage against anyone. So they've got to do this, win the home games, and then take your chance in four tries at the other place. And so far that's worked. I hope it works in this one. But no, they're not going to rest starters. You can't. This is the playoff. People's had rest.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, not time to rest, no doubt about it. But again, we're talking some Arkansas Razorbacks. And speaking of basketball, Eric Musselman, last time we spoke with you on Talking Ball, we asked you about Barry Dunning. You said it was about 50-50. He ends up leaving. We're not surprised by that. He lands at UAB. They've made some more roster moves. They don't seem like they're done, though. Where does it stand for Eric Musselman's roster right now for the Hogs?
Yeah, Dunning and Ford both said they were coming back, and then all of a sudden they go to the portal. I think they were probably asked to leave.
Yes.
Only Eric knows that for sure, but I get a feeling they do, because you've got Devo and Jordan Walsh out there with the option to come back. You've got the Nelson kid at South Dakota State, the big kid that could come, and of course Holland, the big talk. He got out of his letter of intent to Texas.
That's right, the 5-star, yeah.
Options. Yeah, and 5-star Holland. So, you've got some options for those 2 spots, and I think Eric is trying to obviously get the best players he can for those 2 spots. I do think, and I'm not saying he will get either the big kid Nelson or Holland, but if he gets both of them and then Devo or Walsh want to come back, I think he'll create another spot. Who he would tell to leave, I don't know. But I don't think he's going to. If any of those 4 want to come, he's going to find a spot for them, Drew. And, it's cutthroat business anymore. It is. I have people ripping him for that. I have people praising him, whatever. But it's just a cutthroat business, man. It is. And I don't see it changing unless some of these rules change.
No question about it. And I was hearing a few days ago that the Hogs might be the favorite for Grant Nelson if he doesn't stay in the draft. So where does that stand? Does Arkansas feel good about him right now if he doesn't stay in the NBA draft?
I think they feel like they've got as good a chance as anyone, and I think that's where they're at. And he would be a big addition because he's got some size. He played against Arkansas earlier in the year, and that is what they. You put him with Trevin Brazile, you've got something to build on there inside, and I don't know that he's going to stay in the draft.
It doesn't seem like he should. I think looking at it, just how it looks like the draft's going to go, Otis, that he would be better to go get an NIL deal and come back to college basketball.
See, I agree with you. I don't think either of those 3 kids. I think Walsh is going to get picked in the 50s.
Right.
He could come back, or even if he didn't come back to Arkansas, Walsh could go somewhere, play 1 year, and become a late first round, early second round pick. I really believe that about Jordan Walsh. He's not ready. And then Devo is not on any mock drafts. He's not even in the top 100s that I've seen. And I'm an NBA geek. I study this stuff, and I have not seen Devo's name in the top 100 or in any mock draft. So I don't know. I just don't. I don't think any of those 3 kids, Nelson included, should go to the draft this year. I think it's going to be a big mistake on all their parts. As you said, you can go get an NIL deal. It's not what you would make in the NBA, but it gives you a chance to build your game 1 more year and then develop and then go to the NBA. Not Black, but Nick Smith Jr. has slipped some, I think. And you never know for sure till the draft happens, but it looks like Nick may have slipped down some. He may even slide a little out of the lottery. He's not going to go very far, but he's going to slide a little bit, I think. And with that knee injury, I think that's as big. People talk about he didn't play that much at Arkansas and wasn't. I think some of his game got exposed a little bit in the fact that he's not a true point guard like people thought. He's not a point guard. He's more of a shooting guard. He's more of a point guard body. But I think that knee has people concerned, and it should. It should. Look at Lonzo Ball, and we could Zion Williamson knee. Not just knees, but injuries can hamper the best of them. So I can understand somebody being skeptical of a kid with injuries already at this age.
Yeah, no question about it. But still looking like a strong roster for Arkansas. But speaking of rosters, I was just taking a look at your article on hogville.net. Sam Pittman, I know the window closed at the end of April, but he's not done with the portal. You were talking about maybe 6 spots available for Arkansas as they continue to build their roster. Kind of go into detail for the listeners about that, where this roster stands and the positions you believe that Sam Pittman and his staff, his new staff, the two new coordinators, Travis Williams, of course, Marcus Whitson, kind of co-DCs, the new OC in town, Dan Enos, what they're kind of targeting.
Okay, well, last night Jaden Muskrat committed to Auburn.
That's
and
right.
Here was the deal with Jaden. He was from Bentonville West, but he only played here 1 year. And I talked to him. I met with him Friday when he left Arkansas after his official visit. I actually met with he and his mother. And he told me that, I asked him, you were only here a year. Did you get caught up in the Razorback hype? And he said, no, not really. He said, I went to a camp. But here's the deal. Philip Montgomery now is at Auburn, and he's who gave Jaden a chance at Tulsa when other schools, including Arkansas, didn't take him.
Yeah.
And I think he was loyal to him, and I think that's why Auburn got him. They got a good offensive lineman. I don't think he's a tackle in the SEC. He's not very tall, man. He's 6'3" or so. He played tackle at Tulsa, but I think he was going to be a center or guard at Arkansas. He told me tackle or guard, but I think Pittman is looking for a center. Is what he's looking for, and not necessarily a starting center. He got Bo Limmer to start, but he's wanting a backup center. That's one. He's wanting a defensive tackle, interior defensive tackle. Kiwi Rose from Louisiana Tech would fill that need if he came. But the biggest need for them in the portal is 2 or 3 defensive backs. I mean, that's where they're – and I don't know – I mean, I know some options they've got, but I don't know – I mean, they're I don't know if struggling is the right word, Drew, but, I mean, they're a little bit of struggling there to find the right fits back there in the secondary. I mean, they're on some kids that a few of them went other places, and I just don't know if the options are there that for what they need. I don't know that the legit SEC options are there that much, and the ones that are got other interests. And and Woodson and Wilson are great recruiters. Those guys can recruit. I sell ice to the Eskimos, so it's not they can't recruit. Just I don't know about the options in the secondary, and that's where Arkansas's biggest needs remaining. 6 scholarship. I think they offered the tight end. It was Arkansas State, Traore. He went to Colorado. He entered the portal again. Even though Barquise Gums came back to the fold Sunday, I still think they would probably take Traore. I mean, they've got 6, and so you've got the best available talent. And even at tight end, they've only got 5 kids on scholarship counting Gums. So they could use a tight end like Traore, who caught 50-something passes at Arkansas State. Number 2 kid on Pro Football Focus's tight end grades. So they could use him, even getting Gums. I mean, you've got 2 freshmen, you got a former walk-on, and you've got a redshirt freshman. That's what they've got there. So they could use a little bit older tight end. But, yeah, that's the main needs. Once you get past that, and with Quincy McAdoo, Zach Carrack, I think they were wanting 2 defensive backs and preferably safeties. But I think they may have moved that to 3 now. It would not surprise me if the options are there, legit options, if they would take 3 defensive backs, a defensive tackle, an offensive lineman, and then best available player with the other scholarship. That's where I think they're at right now, Drew. And that best available could be a tight end. It could be a wide receiver. It could be, or they could find, a few years ago, Tykees Crawford entered the portal from Charlotte, a kid that was committed to Arkansas and then went to Charlotte. But Arkansas didn't need an offensive tackle or offensive lineman in that class, but he was a freshman, and he was too good to pass on, so they took him, and now he's competing for a starting spot this fall. I mean, and he started the bowl game. That's what you can do with that wild card kind of a scholarship where you don't have a specific need. You take the best available player. It might be a young guy that you could develop in a position where you may not need him in 2023, but, Lord, he could help in 2024, 2025, 2026. So you got options there, and it's always good. It's great to have options, man.
It really is. We're talking to Otis Kirk, Hogville.net. And the interesting part is it's almost become like a third recruiting, class or whatever you want to call it, third recruiting cycle, I guess is the best term to use, because you have the early signing period in December where most of your high school, junior college happens. You have some kids in February that can still sign, but really these windows for the transfer portal, and that's probably why you talked about Arkansas being in on some kids, but there's a lot of schools now that are attacking that transfer portal, and so there's a lot of competition out there.
Yeah, because basically, who doesn't need a big safety? Who doesn't need a cover cornerback? Who doesn't need
Alabama's even looking, Otis. I mean, as well as they've recruited with all these 5-stars, they're looking for a safety in corner.
Yeah, defensive tackles. You can never get too many defensive tackles, man. I mean, Arkansas is sitting good at the end. They've got 6 legit SEC defensive ends. I'm not saying they're all Americans, all SEC. I'm not even saying they're all SEC defensive ends, although Jeff Coat made it one year at Missouri. But I'm just saying they've got 6 legit defensive ends in the SEC at defensive end. But in the interior, they need another. But who doesn't need defensive? I guarantee you, Alabama, Florida, Georgia could all use a defensive tackle. You just do it. And then safeties, as you said, everybody wants these big safeties. I mean, them safeties, cover corners who can do man, the man coverage and stuff, and tight coverage, and can run with these receivers and big safeties. Those guys who can play nickel if they need them. Those kids don't grow on trees, man. So everybody's looking for the same thing. And so, when you do have kids there, I mean, it's not guaranteed you will get them. I mean, some fans think, well, Arkansas often they're going to get them. It's not that simple. Like Muskrat, he had ties to the Tulsa coach. It's at Auburn now, and it was just something. And he really, to me, that wasn't an in-state kid. Yeah, he played at Bedfield West his senior year, but that was 1 year. And I mean, he just didn't. I could tell when I talked to him and his mom, he didn't have that. He didn't have that excitement for the program that you see in most Arkansas kids. When I talked to Charlie Collins and Courtney Crutchfield recently, when they committed, it was a different vibe, man, completely different vibe. I mean, this is a kid that moved here 1 year and was not shown interest that much by Arkansas and wasn't, he didn't feel the loyalty. And I completely get it. I mean, he went with the coach that gave him the opportunity to start with. That was Montgomery. And so I don't blame the kid. I mean, I understand it. I completely get it. I'd love to see him at Arkansas, but wherever he goes, he went where he was best for him, and I figured that's where he would go. I really did. I had a feeling. I didn't get that vibe from talking to him. He was hard to read, but I didn't get a good vibe talking to him Friday, and it was in person. So usually I get a pretty good read on those kids, but I just didn't get the feel, and I wouldn't have been surprised no matter what he did.
Yeah, and then here's the interesting part. You just made the great point of, and I have too. I mean, when I was watching Alabama in spring practice, and even before, I told folks as far as Alabama's needs, I thought they might go for an interior OL, but after keeping my ear to the ground and seeing the spring game and getting some intel, I was like, okay, I think they like where they are because the freshman class passed the muster. They don't need an interior offensive lineman. I think they're good. They had already, and I thought tight end and middle linebacker, but they addressed those before spring with Trez Marshall from Georgia and then C.J. Dupree from Maryland. But the 3 areas were defensive line, which is, as you just talked about, so hard to find because those are in demand. And then I thought DB, Alabama's got Jalen Love, and then, of course, Trey Amos from Louisiana Lafayette. They're recruiting both of them in the secondary, and then quarterback. And I thought quarterback was distant, but then they quickly pounced, on Tyler Buckner. Yep. With Arkansas, you just talked about they're about to get a midweek visit from Kevy Rose from Louisiana Tech, and I know he was at La Tech, but, man, he's got some good offers. Arkansas wants him, but Missouri, Mississippi State, Miami, West Virginia, TCU, Ole Miss, Colorado, Virginia Tech. I mean, these guys are in demand. Does Arkansas have a legit shot at this kid from Henderson, Texas?
I think they do. They got Tank Booker, so that took a little pressure off. They need 2. But getting Tank Booker from Maryland really helped a lot. They thought they were going to get the other kid from that came down for a visit, but he ended up going elsewhere to Texas. But I think Rose definitely would fit that bill. And the good thing about Rose, if he commits to Arkansas, that would close another need. Then they really, like I said, the interior offensive lineman and secondary would be the biggest needs after that. And then, but I feel pretty good about Arkansas having a chance at Kevy Rose. I mean, I think they've got probably, like I said, it's just hard on some of these transfers. Some of them are pretty close to the best, as was Muskrat. I mean, they're pretty close to the best. They're not really caught up. I remember Felipe Franks, when he visited Arkansas, I caught up with him, and he didn't want to talk. He wasn't rude. He just didn't want to talk. He said, I went through this the first time, and I just want to make a decision best for me and not make a big deal about recruiting like I did the first time. And I said, give me 1 minute. I said, give me 1 minute. And so he gave me 40 seconds. And I got something. But, I mean, it was great. And then after that, Felipe was great when he was here. But he wasn't being rude at all. He just didn't want to make a big deal about his recruiting. Joshua Braun, now he talked for 4 or 5 minutes, but I caught up with he and his wife when they were apartment hunting here. And he was the same way. He just said, I'm not into this recruiting. I went through this first time. But he said, he talked to me for 4 or 5 minutes. I don't remember how long it was. Quite a while. Pretty good interview. And, of course, I knew they were getting him because he and his wife and mother were out apartment hunting. So I knew Arkansas had him. But it's just a different field with these kids, and some of them don't give you the Jaheim Thomas, the kid from Cincinnati, the linebacker committed to Arkansas. He gave no indication where he was going. I mean, or at least he downplayed. I mean, he just didn't publicize his offers. He didn't do anything, and I know he considered Auburn and he considered Arkansas, and he committed to Arkansas. But I didn't get to see him play against Arkansas the first game. That's when I was in the hospital, so I didn't get to see that Cincinnati game. But I saw it later. But I mean, I didn't get to. I wasn't there like I would have been otherwise. But yeah, he's a good ball player. He had 70 tackles up there at Cincinnati. He's 6'4", 245, and that wasn't even one of their priority needs. But they felt like if they could get him at linebacker, he was too good to turn down. They got Antonio Greer early. They're really impressed with him in the spring, and they love Jordan Crook and Chris Paul and Pooh Paul and Jordan Crook and then Manny Powell. So they love what they've got, but they felt like Thomas was just too good to turn down. And the numbers there were we wouldn't have to lean on true freshmen. The numbers were there that they could take Thomas and feel pretty good about the situation at linebacker, not oversign there. He was somebody who could come in and give him a couple of years of productivity there.
Well, and I noticed that to wind things down, I know it's a big week for Arkansas as an athletic department, though. How excited are they with what Courtney Deifel's doing to host the conference softball tournament?
Yeah, they've got a bunch of – they've made it in 2010, they didn't do this. This year they've made it kind of – they SEC'd it kind of. I don't know how you say that, but they've got it's got an SEC flavor to the park. It's not an Arkansas Razorback flavor like it was. I went to the regional and super regional last year when they played and hosted it here, and I don't remember it being a biggest deal as this is. They've really made it look like an SEC park. It's pretty much an SEC park, not an Arkansas park. And I think that's pretty cool for them to do that here. And I don't know if that's a league requirement. I don't know. But I just do know they have. We've got pictures up. I know the photographer went out last night and got pictures of. I saw a special on Big Trail Nation about the stadium, the Bogle Park, where they had it looking like an SEC park. And like I said, they didn't do that in 2010. So it's impressive. I think it'll be a good one. Arkansas's a 4th seed. They lost a couple of games that Missouri probably shouldn't have lost, but that happens. When you go on the road in the SEC, Drew, you know this as well as I do. It doesn't matter who you are. It's a battle. I mean, you can be the best. Arkansas goes to Georgia and gets swept in baseball. Then to go to Mississippi State this week, it's a toss-up. I mean, it's just a crapshoot anytime you go on the road in the SEC. It can happen, and they got 2 walk-offs against them up there at Missouri. They won the first game, run ruled them, and then got beat 2 games in a row and kind of cost them something. But it was still played Thursday, still been in one of the top 4 seeds, so it didn't really change a whole lot. They've got Tennessee. If they win, if them and Tennessee advance to Friday, then they will play Tennessee. If both of them win, which is not a given, but if they do, and they just played Tennessee 3 games here weekend before last and won 2. Arkansas took 2 of them. So kind of the opposite of the Missouri deal. They lost the first game to Tennessee, then won the next 2, kind of what Missouri did to them. So, I mean, it kind of but it's going to be a dogfight. I mean, whoever wins that, Tennessee's the number 1 seed. But I think most teams have a chance. I mean, like I said, Missouri is the 13th seed, the last seed in the tournament, and took 2 or 3 at Arkansas. So I think baseball and softball are a little bit different sports than, say, football, where they play once a week, Drew. But if you get hot at the right time, you can make some noise. I thought Arkansas was dead in the water in baseball last year, Drew, and then they go down there and get smoked at the end of the season. They get smoked in the SEC tournament. What do? They go to Stillwater, win the regional, they go to North Carolina, win the super regional, go to Omaha. And that team, I thought they were dead. The year before, they were number one all year. They beat North Carolina State like 22-1 in the super regional, then lose the next two, and didn't use Kevin Kopps either of those first two games. Baseball and softball will make a liar out of you every time, man. It's kind of like recruiting. It will make a liar out of you because it's just so unpredictable, man.
It really is. Well, isn't that what is predictable is you're going to know a lot about Arkansas. We appreciate your time, Otis. Let everybody know how to connect with you guys over at hogville.net and Pig Trail Nation.
Yeah, I'm on Otis Kirk 23 on Twitter. Hogville, the thing about it is, I listen to Pig Trail Nation, all of our stuff is free. So you can come and read it. Even if you're not an Arkansas fan, you can keep up with the Razorbacks. We cover basically all the sports, and you can and the stuff is free. So it's the recruiting, it's team stuff, and it's all free. And that's the price, and that's a good price. So you can keep up with Arkansas, even if you're not a fan. Like if your team's getting ready to play Arkansas, you can catch up with it with myself, Dudley, Kevin McPherson, Jason Patterson. We just added him, and you got Mike Irwin and others. So we're adding. We've got four plus a photographer going to be on football this fall, which I'm excited about that. So it's going to be interesting, and the content's good, and I feel like it is anyway, and we're checking out.
No doubt.
Thanks for having me on, man. I sure appreciate you.
Thank you, Otis. Have a great day. Otis Kirk joining us. We're going to go on a break and wrap up this edition of the Recruiting Blitz on Blitz Sports Radio.
The Blitz has been called.
I'm here with Stan McDonald of the Stanton Law Firm. Stan, I guess you are the Stanton in the law firm.
Yes, Wes, that's me, and we started the Stanton Law Firm so that myself and 4 other attorneys with me can help clients litigate, negotiate, and creatively solve legal and real estate problems.
Now, Stan, you grew up on a family farm in this area and have made a name closing on houses and land with your closing company, Jacob Title.
I grew up on a farm which used to be in the country. That, plus having closed on so many homes and farms, one of my colleagues started referring to me as a classic dirt lawyer. Now, I didn't know how to take that at first, that tag, but I realized that's exactly what I do and what I am.
And I know the attorneys at Stanton Law Firm are regular listeners, and we plan to have you on periodically. You and I have seen have impacted this community.
Stay tuned, and you may hear about friends like Steve Booker, Clarence Johnson, Thomas Boyd, and even a few of those offensive line hogs like Hoss Johnson, and maybe you remember some other of those guys too.
I remember Clarence Johnson. He beat us one year. He was unbelievable.
No representation is made that the quality of legal services to be performed is greater than the quality of legal services performed by other lawyers.
With us today, Dr. Tracy Lowry of Best Vein Care of Huntsville.
When we evaluate a patient and they indeed have significant venous disease, most third-party payers, private insurance, Medicare, require us to treat every patient conservatively at least 90 days. Conservative treatment includes increasing ambulation, elevation of the legs, and the wearing of compression stockings. It's very common for folks to come see us in March or April wanting to have their veins fixed before they go into swimsuits starting in June. When we see someone in March or April, they're going to require at least 90 days of conservative treatment before we can even go to the insurance carrier to get permission to treat their veins. So if you think you have a venous problem, now is the time to come in and get a free screening so we can determine whether or not you need something evaluated. If you have a vein problem or you think you may have a vein problem, now's the time to contact us at bestveincarehuntsville.com.
AVIQ. Who is AVIQ? AVIQ is audiovisual the intelligent way, where we put our IQ to work for your AV needs. With more than 100 years combined experience in audio, video, and automation, our team of experts is dedicated to one thing, helping you discover technological solutions that make your home special. Once you experience a game or a movie on one of our state-of-the-art home theater systems, you may never leave the house again. AVIQ can build the entire system for you or provide the quality components if you're a do-it-yourselfer. But AVIQ is more than just home theater and state-of-the-art sound systems. We offer a variety of control options for home technology. Energy efficiency, heightened security, and improved quality of life are all attainable through the automation of home systems. Intuitive and user-friendly control is our main priority in designing a system that meets your needs. Don't just take our word for it. You need to see it to believe it. Come visit us at our state-of-the-art showroom on University, just east of Jim and Nick's, across from AT&T, or visit aviqhsv.com.
Okay, Sarah, I'm dropping you at Emily's, and Josh, you're going to soccer, right?
Yeah. Yep.
Oh, and by the way, when I pick you up, I'll be wearing my short shorts.
What? No!
Yep, me and my short shorts doing my daddy dance. Your friends will love it.
No!
Well, I might change my mind if you buckle your seatbelts.
Okay, we're buckling up. See, all buckled.
Whatever it takes, keep them safe. Never give up until they buckle up. A message from the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration and the Ad Council. Visit safercar.gov/kidsbuckleup for more information.
Wrapping up this edition of the Recruiting Blitz on Blitz Sports Radio. Big thanks to Otis Kirk, Pig Trail Nation, Hogville.net. It's all free. Please go there. Great conversation about the Lakers. He's a huge Lakers fan. And, of course, Arkansas, which he's covered for many, many years. Appreciate that. Don't forget the Afternoon Blitz, the Bandyman, Billy Lowry, Captain Cool, John Abraham.